name is Guy. This is Guy Talk Sports. Thank you for being here. Thanks for clicking on that old thumbnail. Appreciate you being here today. A little bit of a more somber tone on this episode as we're going to review the Tennessee-Kentucky game from last night. Also, probably going to make a quick note on the women's basketball program and then dive on into Tennessee baseball. Before we get into that, if you don't mind, down on that bottom right, somewhere down there, there's a subscribe button. If you don't mind, go ahead and smash that. Trying to grow this channel. Let's get into the game. So Tennessee, unfortunately, loses last night on their last game of the regular season to the Kentucky Wildcats, 85-81. Not going to lie, I emotionally checked out of this game at least 2 or 3 times. We would go down by 14, and then we'd climb back, go down by 14, and then we'd climb back. So ended up being pretty close there at the end. Even at the end of the first half, Tennessee found a way to make it closer than what it had been, and was only ended up being down by 4. Dalton Connect flying around, looked like Superman. Dropped 40 on them, and at times seemed to be the only one on our team that could score. Nobody really shot the ball great. I mean, he dropped 40. He threw up almost 30 shots, but he ended up dropping 40 and was clearly the best player on our team last night. We just missed so many open shots by the rest of the team. And I thought from the get-go, Kentucky looked dialed in. They looked ready to play. And it felt like we maybe weren't locked in for those first few minutes, with it being all of the seniors' last game. I definitely felt like that played a pretty big part in us losing. And I think even Rick Barnes mentioned it after the game that he felt like some of the players were a little too emotional. Give Kentucky credit, though. They definitely needed this win for the SEC tournament to get that 2 seed and get the bye or double bye. They have some absolute sharpshooters. They have some guys that just didn't seem like they could miss last night. I thought the refs let a lot go, and there were some missed calls. For the most part, though, I thought it was a fairly called game. Connect definitely seemed to be the only guy to find the basket most of the game. Towards the end, even if he had just thrown up a horrible shot, I was still yelling at the TV to give him the ball and let him see if he can do anything with it, because nobody else was able to hit a basket. It was awful. We're still the regular season champs. We're still number 1 in the SEC. And we'll still hopefully be a 1 seed when all the dust settles. So really can't be too upset with losing. It's just never fun losing to Kentucky. Not a fan of losing to them. So let's take a look at the team stats. I think in the end, stats didn't look as bad as they really were, for the most part, because when you look into the personal stats, you'll see Connect shot well, or at least decent, and then the rest of the team shot horribly. So real quick, Tennessee shot 38%, Kentucky 46%, 3-point percentage 33% for Tennessee. Kentucky shot 52% from 3-point range, and that's going to win you games. I honestly, we were down by 14 at multiple points last night, and the way Kentucky was shooting the ball, I can't believe how close. I'm telling you, I counted them out multiple times. Not proud of it, but I did, and we just found a way to battle back. I think that has to do a lot with the maturity of our team, but Kentucky just kept nailing threes. Shot 52% from 3-point range. So, I don't know how it was as close as it was at the end, because they just didn't seem like they could miss. Free throw percentage, 68% for Tennessee. Again, anytime you're under 70, that's not great. You really want to look even, to be even higher than that. Kentucky shot 89% from the free throw line. Only had 7 turnovers. Kentucky had 14. So that's a good stat. We had 17 assists. Kentucky had 12. Rebounds, pretty close. 35 for us, 38 for them. Offensive rebounds, though, we had 14 offensive rebounds, and Kentucky only had 8. So they didn't really need to have that many offensive rebounds because they were just hitting a lot more than we were. So that kind of plays into that. We had 5 blocks. Kentucky had 9 blocks. And that goes into a little bit of, there were a few blocks that they called as blocks and really should have been called fouls. But again, that's kind of nitpicking. I don't think that's what really cost us the game, though. Steals, we had 9 steals to their 5. And then personal fouls, we had 16 to their 20. They came out and they were physical. They were really physical. They bullied Connect at times, just tearing into them. So, they were definitely locked in last night, and they really needed that win. But yeah, and Calipari ended up getting a technical because he was screaming halfway down the court, banging on the side table there, trying to get a player in. But we ended up missing the free throw, so it didn't matter. Let's look into some personal stats. Like I said, Dalton Connect, he's just amazing. I really wish we had more years with him because he ended up with 40 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Shot 14 of 29. Decent, right? 6 of 15 from 3, 6 of 9 for free throws, no blocks, 1 steal. Ended up actually having 4 turnovers, though. But really was the only guy shooting well. And let's move on to Ziegler. He ended up with 17 points, 2 rebounds, 9 assists, almost ended up with a double-double. 6 of 15 from the floor, though. 4 of 11 from 3. And 1 of 2 from free throws. Had 1 steal, 1 turnover. An argument could be made that he had an okay game, but there were times where just blanking open shots, uncontested shots. Jonas Adu ended up with 11 points, 8 rebounds, no assists, 4 of 11. He normally has a much higher shooting percentage than that, and he was only 4 of 11 last night because he's 7 foot and shoots 3 feet from the basket, right? And so you expect him to have a higher shooting percentage. It was only 4 of 11, though. And I think a lot of that had to do with Kentucky's length, and it's something he's not used to battling as much under the basket. He was actually 3 of 3 from the free throw line. Had 5 blocks. He played okay. Ziegler and Adu played okay in stretches, right? But for the most part, it wasn't great. He had 1 steal and he had 1 turnover. Josiah Jordan-James ended up with 8 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists. He's been a rebound machine these last few games. He was 2 of 9 from the floor, 2 of 6 from 3-point range. Hit both his free throws, no blocks, 2 steals, 1 turnover. Vescovy, no points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 0 of 5 from the floor, 0 of 3 from 3-point. He missed some open shots. James missed some open shots. Those 2 in particular probably missed more open shots than anybody else on the team. And I'm not trying to single them out. They've given their all for this program, and so I appreciate everything they've done. But it was just a bit of a tough game. He ended up with no blocks, 1 steal, and no turnovers. And then, you had Meshack, Awaka, and Gainey all have a few minutes. Meshack ended up with 22 minutes, actually. And they, some miscellaneous points here or there. But for the most part, it was a bit of a rough game to watch. It was nice to see us battle back, but ultimately it was Connect, and then everybody else was just trying to play keep up. With all that being said, though, right, there is still a lot to look forward to with this team. I think it was a bad shooting night. I think it was an emotional night for a lot of those seniors, as it was their last game there. And so I expect them to bounce back. I expect them to make a push in the SEC tournament, and let's see how far we can get in the big dance here. One quick note before we move on to baseball. I'm a huge supporter of all Tennessee sports. I typically will just cover football, basketball, and baseball. But I do follow like the women's basketball team. I used to go, all the time as a kid and watch those games. The women's basketball team let a golden opportunity slip away yesterday. They were up by 2, had a chance for 2 free throws with just a couple seconds left, missed both of those, and they had 1 second to defend. And South Carolina inbounds the ball to a player that nobody covers for a wide open 3. And nobody, when she caught the ball, nobody was even running towards her to try and defend her when she shot it. It was the most wide open shot I've ever seen. And she nailed it. And South Carolina ends up winning. And it was a pretty gut-wrenching way to lose the game. I really want to see that program moving in a better direction. Like I said, I used to go to the games all the time with my grandmother growing up, and got to see Pat cruising on the sidelines. And this program absolutely should be better than where it is right now. So I don't know what Kelly Harper's future is with the women's program, but it needs to be better. So on a brighter note, let's move on to Tennessee baseball. They are absolutely on fire right now. They are 15-1 overall. They finished off Bowling Green last weekend, sweeping them. Ended up beating Kansas State. Had a bit of a close one with Southern Indiana, where they won 2-1, and are currently looking to sweep Illinois, with the last game of the series being played today, Sunday, March 10th, at 1 p.m. at home at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. So hope they can get this sweep there. They've been really hot, really hot. This has been a great start to the season so far for them. But that's all I've got for today. Bit of a rougher episode covering the 2 basketball programs. They had a rough time yesterday. Baseball's looking hot though. They're looking to stay on fire, finish off the series. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate each and every one of you that watch this, that subscribe. If you don't mind, throw a comment down there. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see. I want this content to get as good as it can. Hit the like button if you can. Also, remember, bottom right, hit that subscribe button for me. Thank you for checking this channel out. Look to do another episode tomorrow. Appreciate it. Go Vols. We'll see you next time.